Lesson 10. Rules of Engagement. Memory text. He who sins is of the devil, for the devil has sinned from the beginning. For this purpose, the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. 1 John 3, verse 8. 1 Kings 18, verses 9-40, presents a compelling story of Elijah on Mount Carmel, revealing the false gods of the nations. However, these gods represent more than mere pagan fantasy. They embody a deeper truth about what the surrounding nations truly worshipped. They offered sacrifices to demons instead of God, to unfamiliar gods, to new deities that their ancestors did not fear. Paul tells us not to sacrifice to false gods and demons, nor have anything to do with them. The so-called gods, worshipped by various nations, were in reality demons masquerading as deities. This indicates that all scriptural references to idolatry and foreign gods can be viewed as texts about a cosmic struggle. With this context in mind, the theme of cosmic conflict becomes clearer. This understanding carries significant implications for grasping the nature of this struggle, and offers insights into the issue of evil.
An angel delayed. Daniel 10 verses 1-14, provides a fascinating glimpse into the cosmic conflict between the forces of good and evil. The Prince of Persia is understood as a demonic power, working to influence the Persian kingdom against God's will. This aligns with the Adventist view that behind earthly affairs, a great controversy between Christ and Satan is ongoing. Daniel's persistent prayer played a role in the spiritual battle, showing that human prayers impact the unseen conflict. This demonstrates the power of intercessory prayer in engaging with God's work. The delay of the angel for 21 days demonstrates that Satan and his forces actively resist God's purposes. He tries to obstruct God's plans, but is ultimately overcome by divine power. Michael, whom Adventists identify with Christ, intervenes to assist the angel. This highlights Christ's central role in the cosmic conflict, and his ultimate victory over evil. The resistance for 21 days signifies the reality of spiritual opposition in the great controversy. It demonstrates that God allows conflicts to unfold within his divine timeline, but his purposes will prevail. It reassures believers that Christ actively engages in the battle, ensuring the triumph of righteousness. This passage serves as a reminder that prayer plays a role in spiritual warfare, and while delays may occur, God's purposes will ultimately prevail. It also reassures believers that they are not alone in their struggles. God and his heavenly forces are actively working behind the scenes.
The Dragon of Revelation. Revelation 13 verses 1-8 describes the rise of a beast from the sea, empowered by the dragon, Satan, who gives it authority, power, and a throne. This passage reveals the extent of the dragon's jurisdiction in several ways. The beast wields authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation, suggesting a worldwide impact. This implies that Satan's influence extends broadly across the earth during this period. The beast is described with characteristics of powerful empires, symbolizing political control and military strength. The dragon gives the beast its power, indicating Satan's ability to manipulate earthly rulers and kingdoms. The passage emphasizes that the whole world marvels at, and worships the beast, showing that Satan's jurisdiction extends into the spiritual realm, deceiving people into false worship. The beast is allowed to wage war against God's people, and overcome them temporarily, revealing that Satan's dominion includes the ability to persecute believers. While the dragon grants authority to the beast, it is clear that this power is permitted by God for a limited time. Ultimately, only those whose names are not written in the Lamb's Book of Life worship the beast, showing that God's authority remains supreme. In summary, the dragon's jurisdiction extends globally, affecting political, military, and religious spheres, and includes persecution of believers. However, it is still under God's control and limited in duration.
The case of Job. The passages in Job 1, verses 1 to 12, and Job 2, verses 1 to 7, reveal key principles of the great controversy. The cosmic struggle between God and Satan, over human faithfulness and divine justice. Satan as the accuser. In both passages, Satan presents himself before God, challenging Job's righteousness. He argues that Job is faithful, only because God blesses him, implying that humans serve God purely for selfish reasons. This reflects Satan's broader accusation against God's government, that God's followers obey him only out of convenience, not out of love or true loyalty. God's sovereignty and permission. God allows Satan to test Job, but sets boundaries, showing that while evil exists, it operates under divine limits. This highlights the principle of free will and moral testing. God permits trials, but does not cause them, and he remains in control. Faithfulness amid suffering. Job's initial response to suffering is worship and submission, demonstrating that true faith is not dependent on material blessings. This counters Satan's claim, and illustrates that humans can remain loyal to God, even in adversity. The unseen spiritual conflict. Job is unaware of the heavenly dialogue, yet his life becomes a battleground for a larger conflict, between good and evil. This reflects how the great controversy is often unseen by humans, yet it profoundly affects their lives. Satan's role in human suffering. Job's suffering, loss of wealth, family, and health, is directly inflicted by Satan, not God. This reinforces the biblical teaching, that suffering and evil originate from Satan, not from a cruel or unjust God. These passages illustrate the great controversy by revealing Satan's accusations, God's justice, and the reality that faith is tested in the face of suffering. Job's story ultimately affirms that God is worthy of worship, even when his ways are not fully understood.
The temporary ruler of this world. Several Bible verses emphasize that Satan has significant influence over the present world system. However, They also reveal that his rule is temporary, and ultimately subject to God's judgment. We will reflect on some of those passages. John 12 verse 31, Jesus declares, "Now is the judgment of this world, now will the ruler of this world be cast out." This verse shows that although Satan has power, his judgment is already set in motion through Christ's victory. John 14 verse 30, Jesus refers to Satan as the ruler of this world, but he also emphasizes that Satan has no claim on me. This highlights Christ's superiority over him, and reassures believers that Satan's power is limited. John 16 verse 11, the ruler of this world is judged. Jesus affirms that Satan's fate is sealed, his reign is coming to an end, reinforcing that his authority is not permanent. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 4, this verse describes how the god of this age, Satan, blinds unbelievers to the truth of the gospel. While he exercises power, it is only for a time, and does not surpass God's sovereignty. Luke 4 verse 6, during Jesus' temptation, Satan claims he has authority over the kingdoms of the world, which he can give to whomever he chooses. While this suggests he holds temporary dominion, it is only by God's allowance. In all this, we see our comfort and hope. Though Satan wields influence in the present world, his rule is limited, and already under judgment through Christ's victory on the cross. Believers can take comfort in knowing that his reign is temporary, and will end completely when Christ returns. Jesus has overcome the world, ensuring victory for those who trust in him. God remains sovereign, and no power can separate us from his love. While Satan's influence may seem strong, we stand firm in the hope that his time is short, and God's eternal kingdom will prevail.
Limits and rules. The cosmic struggle centers on God's nature, ignited by the devil's accusations against his goodness and authority, resembling a celestial legal battle. Resolving it requires clear evidence, not brute force. Serious accusations against authority figures require a transparent, fair, and thorough investigation. If these allegations threaten the government of love, they must not be ignored. How does this enhance our understanding of the cosmic struggle and evil? If God makes a promise, he won't break it. His commitments constrain his future actions, which means some evils may exist in the temporary realm of darkness. Mark 6 verse 5 shows that Jesus' miracles were limited in his hometown due to the people's unbelief, emphasizing the role of faith in receiving divine action. Mark 9 verse 29 highlights that certain spiritual victories, such as casting out demons, require prayer, and some manuscripts add fasting, demonstrating that divine power is often accessed through dependence on God. Together, these verses reveal that faith and prayer are key factors in experiencing God's power and intervention. Both stories set boundaries for engagement related to faith and prayer. Evidence indicates that prayer can significantly influence our world, enabling divine intervention that may not be morally accessible otherwise. However, we shouldn't assume that faith and prayer are the sole influences, as many other unrecognized factors may also be involved. This aligns with our earlier discussions on the rules of engagement, indicating that God has made certain commitments. There are specific guidelines in the ongoing conflict that limit what God can ethically do for now. Romans 8 verse 18. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us.
Thank you for studying with us. We hope you give this video a like and please subscribe. And always keep the faith of Jesus.